everyone, welcome to today's workshop on Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. I am Ankita from SpringPeople. We are India's largest enterprise training provider. I'll be your moderator for today's session. We are absolutely thrilled to have all of you here with us. If you ever felt curious about cloud computing but didn't know where to begin, you are in the right place. Today's session is designed for beginners, for anyone who wants to understand what Azure is, how it works, and how it can open new doors in your tech journey. We'll cover the core Azure services, real-world use cases in AI, machine learning, data, and app development, and touch on pricing models to help you build a solid foundations. And to walk us through this exciting journey, we are honored to welcome Dr. Parul Kundu, a highly respected name in the world of cloud computing and AWS. With over 15 years of experience, Dr. Parul has trained professionals across industries and countries. His expertise spans cloud services, SQL, PLSQL, and programming languages like Python, C, and C++. He's led over 100 corporate trainings, especially around AWS certifications like Solutions Architect, Advanced Architect, Cloud Practitioners, and CSOPs Associate. What makes him stand out is his hands-on practical approach and makes learning interactive and easy to grasp. So you are in for a truly enriching experience. We promise this will be an insightful discussion packed with valuable takeaways. If you have any questions during the session, please drop them in the chat box and we will address them at the end. Now, without further delay, let's begin. Over to you, Dr. Parul.
Thank you very much, Ankita. If you can let me know that is my voice audible to you and others.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for this. Hi, everyone. Welcome back, I must say, because it's our second webinar on Azure. And Ankita already said that I take patches on AWS. Now it's a new journey. We are moving from AWS to Microsoft Azure. We'll see what exactly we have already covered in the last webinar, what exactly Azure infrastructure is all about, and what we have in infrastructure, what exactly cloud computing is, what are the benefits of cloud computing. So all these things we have already discussed. Now, what we are here for today, what exactly is the reason why we are here today? We are going to do some hands-on today to create VMs, to create peering, to create balancing. Let's see what exactly the agenda for today is, what we are going to do today. So learning out path outline will be something like that. We are going to will have a discussion on Azure networking. What is all these things? IP, CIDR, VNet, subnet, routable. You might be knowing about all those things. You might not. If you know, very good. And if you don't know, then very, very good. Because forget about everything. When I'm here, I'll take very good care of everything. And I assure you for that. Give your time. Things will become very easy, not only for today, for your entire career, that how to deal with networking and all. We are going to discuss that as well. Then we'll move to compute. We'll go and create virtual machine and we'll be balancing the load among the virtual machines. Then we'll be doing some peering, that how to do peering, how to communicate privately. We are going to watch all those things today. Now, this is a webinar agenda 1, and this is what architecture diagram is going to be, where you see that we are somewhere in VNet, SpringPeople VNet. What is VNet and all those things? Not to worry. This might be a fancy term for you within start of this webinar, but it will never be a fancy after this webinar. So what is all these things? What is the meaning of this? What is this subnets? What are these virtual machines which you am creating? Then having load balancer, then users are accessing those. What is all those things? We are going to understand just today after this. So these are line of actions for today. So we'll keep checking all of them one by one as we'll do it. But as of now, we'll just move to Azure networking. Now in Azure networking, the first thing, or forget about Azure networking, let's come to networking. Let's talk of networking. Let's do something. So the first question is, I'll start with one question, which I'm not expecting that you should answer, but if you can answer in the chat window, that will be great. So if something is written like this, just give me a minute. Great. So if something is written like this, 192.168 .0.0/24. Then what exactly this is? And if you know, then how many IPs can be generated? So if you have an answer, you can paste it in a chat window. If you don't know, if you have answer of this, what is this called, or how many IPs can be generated, you can paste it in a chat window so that I can see if you have idea of this. No worries. Let's start. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to talk on what is this and why. Now the question is why. Will give you answer of every why. Now 192.168.0.0/24 is called CIDR. This is called classless inter-domain routing. And how many IPs we can create? 256. But the question is how you came to 256. Now the question for 256 is you have a simple formula 2 to the power 32 minus n, where what is n which is written after slash, which is 24. So 2 to the power 32 minus 24, which is 2 to the power 8, and 2 to the power 8 is 256. It's fine, thank you very much. But why 32? From where this 32 is coming? So if you have this question, means you are on a right track. If these questions are coming to your mind, then you are on a right track. So knowing formula is a good thing, but how these things are coming, let's go to a track. Let's break this topic. Now, when I talk about any IP, especially IP version 4 IPs, so let me write one IP, 192.168.3.25. So this is an IP, and this IP is IP version 4 IP and has total 32 bits. That is 8 bits, dot 8 bits, dot 8 bits, and 8 bits. So 8888 is equal to 32. But you say, no, doctor, it's only 3 bits. No, they are not bits, they are decimal numbers. If you want to see the bits of it, then you go to binary numbers. Now, what are binary numbers? So the number which have only 0 and 1 are binary numbers. And what are decimal numbers? The number which we use are in our daily life. The number start from 0, 1 and go till 9 are decimal numbers. So whatever is written over here are decimal number, not binary numbers. So let's first understand, break this particular IP into bits. So if I talk about binary numbers, so the first binary number is 2 to the power 0, power 1, power 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Why till 7? Because we are only interested in 8 bits. So anything to the power 0 is 1, 2 to the power 1 is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128. Now let's say if I have to write 0 in binary in 8 bits, means decimal 0. So all the bits will be 0, 0, 0. So if I write 8 times 0, so this is 0 in binary, while decimal it is 0. If I have to write 3 in binary, so bind in place of 2 and 1, it will become 3. Remaining all digits will be 0, 0, 0. So this is 3 in binary. If I have to write 17 in binary, so what is 17? 16 and 1 makes 17 in binary. Remaining all the digits will be 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is 17 in binary. If I have to write 25 in binary, then so 16, 8, 24, and 1. This is 25 in decimal, while all the bits will be 0 other than that. It's 25 in binary. And if let's say I want to write 168, so 128, I cannot take 64 because this is greater than 168. Sorry, 0. 128 plus 32 makes 160, and I'm left with only 8, 168. Remaining all the bits will be 0, 0, 0. This is 168. And dot, dot, dot. If all the bits are high, then add 128 plus 64 plus 32 plus 16 makes 255. So you will never see a IP. You will never see a IP like this. 3.3.321.9.5. How it can become 321, sir? Even if all the 8 bits are 111, it can never go beyond 255. So any IP cannot have any octet greater than 255. Fine. But the question is why you are teaching us all those things. I said because I said this 32, but why exactly, why you started all those things, why I started? It's an awesome question. Then let's further break it down. Okay, now so what exactly I wanted to say. So when I write CIDR, so the meaning of CIDR is that out of 32 bits, kindly block first 24 bits. So this bits will be blocked. 8 bit, 8 bit, and 8. This will be blocked. Now this bit is free, and if this is free, this is what 8 bits, and 8 bits can vary from 0 to 255 means, let's talk about SpringPeople, TCS, Infosys. They choose one sider for their organization. Let's say we choose one sider for our organization. So we are TCS and we are choosing one sider for our organization, 192.168.0.0/24. Now by this they wanted to say the first three bits will not change, only this can change. So the first device will get 192.168.0.0. The second device will get 192.168.0.1. The third device will get 192.168. First three bits will not change. .0.2. Similarly, the last device will get IP 192.168.0.255. So how many IPs created? So total from 0 to 255 IPs means total 256 IPs created. So either you do it manually or you go by a formula, you get the same thing. Some of you might be having a very good knowledge on net IPs. You might say that, hey, doctor, but first IPs are never used, last IPs are never used. So total 254 IPs. So you are also correct. So total 254 usable IPs. First IP and the last IP is reserved for network and broadcast. So you are absolutely correct. But overall, my question was not that. My question was total IPs, not usable IPs. So till now, I'm able to figure it out that, okay, going next. Let's say you have a cider 10.0.0.0/16. How many? What is this? First 16 bits will be blocked. Means all the devices are going to get IP where 10.0 will be fixed. This can change, this can change. So if this can change, this can change from 0 to 255. If this can change, this can change from 0 to 255. Means total 256. Total 256. So total combination will be 256 into 256. So around 65,536 IPs can be created. Or you put it in a formula, no, 2 to the power 32 minus n, which is 16, which is 2 to the power 16, and which is nothing but 65,536 IPs. Okay, good. So we are getting, or we are not getting, whatever the idea is. Okay, so this is what the thing is. But why you are teaching us? Why you are wasting our time? We are here to learn something and you started teaching networking. I said, let me keep this. Allow me a minute. Okay, so I'll create some duplicate slide. I should have some whiteboarding. Give me a minute. Allow me a minute. Let me create some white. Oh, I'm sorry. Why am I doing this? What happened? Okay, let me delete this. Let me delete this. And let's create one more whiteboarding. And let's go and understand why am I wasting your time? So why am I wasting? Why you started teaching all those things? So what I taught you right now. So what I taught you right now is if the cider is, let's say any cider 172.31.0.0/16, how many IPs can be created? 65,536 IPs can be created. Now, why are you teaching this? I said, why am I teaching this? So let's buy one land. Why should I buy a land? Why should I buy a land? For creating home. Let's buy a home. So now when I go and buy a home, so what I do? Or buy a land. So what I have in my mind, how much size of land I'm looking for. So I'll go and buy a land. Let's say I want to buy a land of 2,000 square feet. Fine. So after purchasing a land, what I do? I give a target to a constructor to construct my home. So let's say constructor asks, sir, how many rooms you are looking for? I say 2 rooms. One my guest room where my guest will come and sit, and one my personal room where my personal things will be kept. He will ask, what is the size of your guest room, sir? So out of 2,000 square feet, you take 300 square feet for my guest room, 300 square feet for my personal room. So I consumed 600 square feet. I'm still left with 1,400 square feet, and which I can use for other purpose, for kitchen, washrooms and all. Now, exactly in the same sense, when in cloud, Microsoft or AWS, when in cloud you go and create your infra, then you need to have isolated space, and that isolated space in Azure is called VNet, and in AWS called we called VPC. Now I wanted to create a isolated space. Why I need to create a isolated space? I ask you one question. What would you buy first, bed or home? 100% home. Will you go and buy a bed if you don't have a home? What will you do? Where will you keep that bed? Sir, you need bed because you have a home. First you buy a home or you rent a home, only then you buy a bed. Exactly in the same sense, when I want to create resources like servers, resources like databases, I need an isolated space where my things, my resources will be kept. So for that, I am going to create VNet virtual network in Microsoft Azure, and I'll say, hey, kindly create one VNet of 50,000 square feet. Now Microsoft will start laughing. Satya will start laughing. Satya will say, have you gone crazy, Mr. Kundra? You are asking to create VNet of 50,000 square feet? Sir, we are not living in a physical world, sir. It's a virtual world. So we are not giving you any land space. You have to give a size of VNet X. Correct. You are giving a very wrong VNet size. Oh, I said, oh, I'm so sorry. So kindly create a VNet of 10.0.0.0/16. Now Satya Nadella will say, or Microsoft Azure will say, thank you very much, Kundra. You are very correct now. Now I got to know that you wanted to create a home in cloud, which you wanted to make VNet, and the size you are giving is this, means total you wanted to create around 65,536 resources to which you want to give a IP, and these IP will have 10.0 common. Am I correct, Mr. Kundra? I said absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You got my point. You got my point, because I need to know CIDR and IP. If I don't know, I cannot create VNet. How can I ask you to create VNet on Azure or VPC on AWS if you don't have knowledge of CIDR? So if you don't have knowledge of CIDR, how will you create VNet? So first of all, understanding of IP and CIDR is very important. Otherwise, other than wasting time, we are not doing. We are just wasting 3 hours of our time over here. So don't waste your time. So by writing CIDR, now AWS or Azure will come to know, okay, so you want to create a big area where you are going to keep around 65,536 resources to which you want to give IP, and how they calculated it by a formula 2 to the power 32 minus 16, which is 2 to the power 16, and which is nothing but 65,536 IPs will be generated from this range. But whenever we talk of any company, they have different floors. First, they buy a land and they create different floors, and different floors, they have different department. Exactly in our personal home, we have different rooms. For different room, we have a different things. We have a guest room, we have a personal room. Now what do you keep in your guest room? Decorative item, where you want people to come and see your decorative item. Would you ever keep your cash gold in your guest room? Would you like others, oh, please see how much cash we have, how much gold we have? So they will say, have you gone crazy? It is something which is personal to you. So I keep my personal thing in my personal room, and I keep things which I wanted to make it public in my guest room. Exactly in the same sense, the room you create in VNet are called subnets. So we call them subnet. So we call them subnet. Now, so I'll create subnet. So I'll create public subnet. So public subnet is my guest room, and private subnet where only to me, my organization, not public can access. Now, public subnet, I have to give a size also, because when I have bought a land of 2,000 square feet, so I have given a size for my room. Same for your subnet also, but the size should come from here. So I give a size 10.0.0.0/20. What is the meaning of 20? 2 to the power 32 minus 20, which is 2 to the power 12, which is 4,096, and it's legitimate. Out of total 65,000 IPs, I'm only taking 4,000 IPs. I'm saying Azure, please create my subnet of 4,096 IPs. Means in this particular block, I will keep around 4,096 resources. Still, I'm left with so many. So 4,096, if removed also, still I again create one CIDR 10.0.16.0/20. So 20 means again 4,096. So again I will create around 4,096. But doctor, this is confusing me a lot. Why you started with 16? Why? Why not 1? Why not 2? Why you started with 16? This is irritating us a lot. I said, is it irritating? In future, it is not going to irritate you from today. So see, why 16 when I have already given 10.0.0.0/20 to my first subnet? So the IPs are blocked from 10.0.0.0. So how many IPs are there? 4,096. Start 10.0.0.0, 10.0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After 255, what will happen? It will become 0 and it will become 1. Have you seen a digital watch? 1058, 1059. Have any one of you 1060? I have never seen 1060. After 1059, I see 11. I see after 1059, I see 11 and this 00. Same is with here. So you start counting 4096 IPs. So 0, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 255. After this, it will become 0, it will become 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will go from 000 till it will go from 10.0.15.255. That's why, sir, my next CIDR is starting from 16. That's why my next CIDR is starting from 16, because till 15 I'm already occupied. I don't have any IP to give you. You don't understand? Let's say, okay, if you don't understand, then why am I here? Let's say Mr. A came to me and said, hey doctor, can you teach me? He came to me at 10 a.m. and he said, hey, can you teach me for 80 minutes? I said, why not? Sure. It's my business to teach. I'll teach you for 80 minutes. So if I'm teaching him for 80 minutes, till how long I'm busy? So I'm busy till 11:20. Now Mr. B comes in middle. He comes at 11 p.m., 11 a.m. and say, hey, can you teach me for 30 minutes? I says, yes, I can teach you for 30 minutes, but only after 11:20, because 11:20 I'm busy till Mr. A. So at 11:21 I'll start with you until 11:50 I'll teach you. So I'll teach you 50 minutes, 30 minutes, but only after 11:21. So what fancy I'm writing? So I'm writing 16. Still you are not getting. So one octet has how many IPs? 256 IP. Divide by 256. What you are getting? 16. It's starting from 16. This will go. So it will start from 10.0.16.0 and it will go till 10.0 because 10.0 will not change, 31.255, and I cannot teach you better than this. This is my limitation of teaching. So I broke the points into different parts and I created a VNet. I created public, I created private subnet, I gave it. I still am left with so many CIDRs. Okay. So shall we continue or will you teach us more theory? Let's not go with theory. Let's start doing practical. So let's create one infra over here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create one VNet in Azure. How to create VNet in Azure? Let's do it. Let me keep this. And what am I going to do is that, so I'm going to show you. So what am I going to do? So this is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to create in Azure one resource group. Now what is a resource group and why I need this? Then I'll create one VNet. I give it a CIDR, obviously, because you are creating a VNet, you have to give a CIDR. CIDR will be 65,536. From that, I am creating two subnet. I'll make one public and I'll make one private subnet. Fine. And I'm giving a CIDR 10.0.1.24. So what is 24? So I'm only taking what? 2 to the power 32 minus 24, which is 2 to the power 8, 256 IPs. So from this huge block, I'm taking only this for this subnet. And from here, so it is busy. So it is busy from 10.0.1.0 till 10.0.1.255. So the next CIDR is starting from 2. Correct. So 256 IPs is covered. So that's why second, third, whatever you want. So they are doing. So let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. So instead of just talking, let's do practical things then. Let me keep this or let me discard this. Let's go to Azure. So what am I going to do? I'm going on Azure. I'm facing some issue. So in my account, so I'm okay. Let's create. So this is Azure interface UI where you can access Azure services. The first thing which I wanted to do, VNet, virtual network. I want to buy a home first. Only then I'll create machines here. So for that, you type VNet, virtual network, click on virtual networks. So you are in VNet. Now create your VNet. So when you create your VNet, understand, it will ask about subscription. So this is the paid subscription. Now coming back to the next is resource group. Now for this resource group, what is resource group? Where I'll keep all my resources in a single group so that it's become easy for me to track. So I'll create VNet, I'll create load balancer, everything in one group. So I will create everything in one group that is called my resource group. So I'll create one new resource group. I'll name it as Azure, or I'll make it something very easy, SpringPeople resource group. So I'll go with SP today. So let me go and click on OK. Now comes the next thing is that which virtual net, what is your VNet name? So what is your VNet natural VNet name? So we'll make SpringPeople VNet done. So we'll do everything on. Now these are regions. Which region you wanted to work? So we have so many regions which I have already covered last time. So which region you wanted to work? So we have so many regions. We'll go with India. So where is India? Filter India. So Central India. So Central India. I'm creating my VNet in Central India. And if you know all those things, awesome. If you don't know, let me just show you this as well. So go here, type Azure Global Infrastructure. Azure Global Infrastructure. When you see Azure Global Infrastructure, you will come to know what am I trying to tell you. So Azure has 60 plus Azure regions. India is one of it. Entire world, 60 plus regions they have. If you explore global data centers, so here I have already shown in my last webinar. Now you see these are the world and their data centers in the world. You see, you just revolve, you want to search your country, here comes your country, my country, India. Now in India, I'm taking Central India. Here I'm deploying my resources. First, here I'm creating a server. If I click on India, so this is Pune location. So Pune location is a Central India, and here I'm going to create my infrastructure. So let's do it. So let's do it. So what am I doing? In SpringPeople resource group, I'm creating SpringPeople VNet in Central India. Let me go and click on next. Security and all, it's not related as of now for this. We'll go and click on next, which is my IP addressing. So it says that with CIDR, sir, 10.0.192 watt slash 16 C65,000 IPs slash 24, you take slash 24. So it's already calculating, and I gave you a formula 256 IPs. So it's calculating. I gave you a formula that how they are calculating. So you are more better than them because you are not mugging the things. But more better than them means they are just calculating and giving you, but you know how it is coming. That is very important. So if you know, then, and you should know the size of your infra. So let's go and create our infra. So we'll go with 65,000. They are creating a default subnet. I don't want. I'll create subnet from scratch. So let me delete this. Fine, done. So networking part, I am done. Let me go. Anything else? Tax review. Let me review. And I'm going to create my VNet. So first of all, something like that, I bought a land. So my land is purchased. So 10.0. So this resource, I'm in Azure resource group I created SpringPeople, and in the SpringPeople resource group I created VNet and I gave us this, and I'm done. Now I'll create 2 rooms. So I'll go step by step. You understand very clearly, not to worry. So I am going to create 2 subnets, 3 subnet, 4 subnet, whatever you want. Let me go and click on go to resource. So my resource is created. You see my resource is created in Central India, and I'm done. Now I want to create subnets. So land I purchased, but I want to create rooms. Yes. So click on subnets. Now when I go and click on subnet, so I'll add subnet to it. So I'll name subnet. So purpose, let's be default name. So I'll make SP SpringPeople public subnet, and I'll make it 1. I'll make both the public subnets. Now the CIDR of your VPC or VNet is this. It is going from 000 to 255. You see the CIDR of your first subnet is, I'll say make it 24. So it will go from 0 to 255, which I've already written. Or if you go via figure diagram, you can make it 1. So if you want, you can make it 1.0. So it will start from 1 to 1.255, which I think I have already explained you. Fine. Now going next, I'll click on add, done. So one of my subnet is created. Second, I'll create another subnet as well. So this is my SpringPeople subnet 1. I'll create SpringPeople another subnet. So why? Let me know. So I'll go with SpringPeople subnet, public subnet 2. I'll create private subnet later on. So this is the CIDR of my VNet. What is the CIDR of your second subnet? So CIDR of my second subnet, you take it 1. It says, sir, you cannot take 1. 1 you have already taken, sir. So 1 you have already taken for public. So you take 2. 2 is available. 2 you can take. So great. So this is available and I can take it. So let me go and click on add. So I designed my infra. So how? Go step by step. Understand things step by steps. So I created this. Now the thing is to make this subnet public. What you need to do, you need to create a route table and attach a route table to your subnets. Fine. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create a route tables. Now route table will give a path. Actually by default it has, but let's understand practically. Now what am I trying to say is, let's go here, whatever I have created. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to create, give me a minute, there is my pen. Yes. Okay, now I'm going to create, so this part is done. Now what am I going to do is, or let me go to the same slide then. Now I'm going to create a route table, and this route table will have a access of internet, and I'm going to attach this route table to both of them so that they have a power of accessing internet, because I'm going to put some public server in front of you today. We'll create a servers also. Fine. So let's do it. So I'm going on route table and I'm going to attach with both the subnets. Let's go. Very simple. To give a route of internet, what am I going to do? I'm going to search on a service called route, R-O-U-T, route tables. Done. I'm going to create one route table. We'll go step by step and show you everything. Not to worry. When I'm here, you will understand things very, very easily and without any issues. Fine. So, okay, I'm creating a route table. Which resource group, sir? So, resource group, I'll to take SpringPeople resource group because resource group will not change. Which region? Obviously, I cannot change a region. So, Central India. So, India, Central India. Let me select. So region can also not change. East Asia, Central India, Pune. Name, I'm creating route table, right? Route table for SpringPeople, public subnets. So I'm making subnets. So I'm going to attach the same route table with both the subnets. So propagate routes, yes, propagates. Review and create, and I'm done. My route table created. Let me go and click on create, and I'm in a process of creating my route table, and my route table is created. But route table is created, but not given to anyone, but not attached with anyone. So deployment succeeded. So route table created. So if I go to the route and click on my route table, so my route table is created. Route table SpringPeople public subnets is created, but it is not attached with any. So if I go and click on settings, and if I click on subnets, so you see no subnets are attached. So I have to associate with this route table SpringPeople VNet with subnet. So I have two subnet, public subnet 1 and public subnet 2. So let me select public subnet 1 first, add it. So with this route table, one subnet is added, but with this route table, I have to associate another subnet also. So see, only two subnet. So can be associate subnet 2 because subnet 1 cannot be, it is already associated. So I said, yes, thank you very much. Let me do it. I did that and my route table is attached. So till now, very, very simple. What I did going here, what I did, I created Azure in Azure resource group, and in resource group, what I did, I created subnet. So I made both the public subnet with 10.1 and 10.2. And I attached route table. Now what next I'm going to do? So this is what resource group all about. So this is resource group, fine. So this is Azure subscription, my subscription, which I'm taking. So my billing parts and all, and resource group where I'm keeping all my resources in a single, say packet, you can say. Now we'll move to compute, virtual machines. So my infra created. Now come back to the same question. What will you buy first, bed or a home? So you said bed. No, you didn't said bed, home. So we already bought a home. We created home. We have one home called a SpringPeople VNet. There are two rooms. Now I'll go and buy a bed. So here bed, you can say I'm going to buy a machine. I'm going to create one machine. So I'm going to start with Azure Compute Services. There are so many virtual machines, virtual servers, app services, container, Kubernetes, virtual desktop. I'm going for virtual machine as of now. So somewhere in central India, in central VNet, I already have one home in central India. So in central India, I'm going to create this machine first. Let's create this machine and check that whether this machine is created. Let's enjoy the machine. So very slowly, what I'll do now, my home is ready, VNet is ready. Let's buy something for my home. So for buying something for my home is I'll go with virtual machines, servers. In AWS, we called EC2. Here we called virtual machines. Fine. So I'm going to create. I'm in virtual machine. I'm going to create what Azure virtual machine. You say I'm creating one laptop which is not close to me, away from me, and I'm going to access it remotely. Only this much. Fine. Resource group, see, everything you need to keep in a same packet. SpringPeople resource group. Very simple. Very, very simple. Virtual machine name, SpringPeople. Virtual machine 1. So give a name. I'm creating one SpringPeople virtual. Where in central India? And if you remember, and I don't know whether you were there in my first class, what is availability zones? So if you were there, awesome. If you're not there, let me tell you. See, understand this very, very carefully. So what is availability zones and what is the meaning of availability zone? I already spoke on it, but no worries. If I have to speak, I'll again speak, not to worry. See, I'm talking of availability zones. What is the meaning? So first of all, we have regions. Now the region we have selected is Central India. Now what AWS did, okay, but under Pune, they created more than one availability zone. Let's say 3 availability zone: availability zone 1, availability zone 2, and availability zone 3. Now what is availability zones? Are nothing but cluster of data centers, actually where you are going to deploy your storage, your servers, networks. So here there are buildings. So here somewhere in some building, I am going to create my server. Fine. Now, if I'm deploying my infra only in availability zone 1, and let's say this availability zone 1 is getting power from Tata or Reliance or from government organization, and this is fail. And if this is fail, so entire my infra will go down. Now what will happen? My application will be not available. It will have a downtime and it is going to impact my business. So it is always recommended to deploy your infra in more than one availability zone for high availability. And they keep a decent distance between these availability zone, near about 100 km. If this availability zone is down due to natural calamities, earthquake, flood. So if I have a distance between two availability zones should not be in two different adjacent building. So if there is an earthquake, so definitely it is impacting other building as well, or flood. So let's keep a decent distance between two availability zones so that if any natural calamity is also there, we can get high availability. So that is what availability zones comes into. This is called global infra. We have regions. Pune is one of it. Under Pune, we have availability zone. Under availability zone, we have data centers, but different availability zones have a distance, and distance is for high availability. Distance is for high availability. Availability. Fine. So this is what I wanted to teach you before I go. As I've already covered all those things in the last batch also, but no worries. I will, whatever I feel like, these are infrastructure. So you if you don't have knowledge of infrastructure, how will you work? So this is infrastructure. So let's go to Azure once again. So I was in a process of creating SpringPeople Virtual Machine 1 in Central India in availability zones, self-selected availability zones. Yes, let it be self-selected availability zone. Now there are zones, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. We'll go with only one. I'm also worried about my money. So just joking. So I'm using only one. Operating system, I'm using Ubuntu as of now. Architecture, I'm going with x86. I'm okay with it. Anything other than this, yes. Now, how, Mr. Kundra, how you are going to access this server which you are creating in Central India? Will you move physically to Central India and start this server and stop this server? And tomorrow you are creating this server in United States. Will you physically move to start and stop this server, install package in this server? I said no. Then they say how? I say via internet. So means remote access. Yes. So for Linux based SSH, port 22 is required, and for Windows, port 3389, that is RDP, remote desktop protocol. So they are giving me already SSH. So would you like to go with SSH keys? Yeah, I will have a SSH keys. I'm going to show all these things. So by default username is Azure user. In AWS it is EC2 users. I'm going with Azure. Would you like to create key pair? What is key pair? Key pair? What is this key pair? Why we need key pair? I said, why I need key pair? Okay. So when I'm talking of infrastructure, guest room, so this is my apartment. So when you go out of your apartment, do you lock your apartment? Yeah, I lock my apartment with my key. Why? Because secure access. I only can enter my apartment and nobody can help. The one who have a key, if I give this key to my wife, my mother, my friend, only they can. Those who have a key can enter. So exactly in the same sensor, you are creating a server. You want security. Would you like to have a key? Only with the key you can access the server. Would you like this? Yes, we want a key. So two key will be created, one public and one private key. So if you are a person of cryptography, then you know public and private key. And if you are not a person of cryptography, then let me give you a layman example. Why two keys are created? So now understand, do you have a bank locker? If not, if you have ever seen with your parents, or if you have your bank locker. Now in bank locker, there are two holes. In our apartment, we only use one key to lock with and to unlock. We have only one key. But in bank locker, there are two holes. One, you have your private key, and one bank employee will come and he will also insert, or she is also going to insert the bank public key, master key. Only then you will be able to access this locker. So in case of servers, we create key pair, one public key and one private key. The one you have, the one which bank gives you is a private key. The one banks has is a public key. So bank has 2000 locker. So they don't have 2000 keys. They have one master key. Fine. So let me just discard this, and it's asking me. So I'm going very slow to explain you. Would you like to create key pair? Go with key pair. Fine. And for this, I'm using RSA algorithms. Fine. So Rivest, Shamir, Edelson were three mathematicians. Fine. Okay. So one key is created, and the name they are giving us SPVM one key. You want to give your own name. You like, I will give my name Dr. Kundra key. So you can give. They don't have any issue. But yes, now, which traffic would you love to have to your server? Port 22, yes, because I'm going to remote access. Anything other than, yeah, I would also make it as a web server. So I also want port 80 HTTP. Allow it, allow it. So see, very slowly I'm going and I'm explaining you the things, but going next. But why you created all those VPC and why those VNet and subnet, where it will come in a use? Next is a disk. How much disk you want storage? So they are giving me 30 GB. I'm okay with 30 GB. I don't have any issues. So I'm okay with it. Now they have SSD options and all. Now, when you go market and you have HDD SSD options, they are giving me SSD. I'm okay with it. And now the next thing is that when I go to the networking section, here comes that, doctor, where would you like to keep your server? I would love to keep my in SpringPeople VNet server. So I'll put my server in SpringPeople VNet. So where I'm keeping my server? In SpringPeople virtual network. Here in SpringPeople VNet, I'm going to keep my server. But in a SpringPeople, I have two subnet, public subnet 1 and 2. So the next step, it is asking, okay, so but in which subnet? You have two subnet here. Subnet 1, so subnet 1, done. Would you like to have a public key? Yeah, I would like to have a public key to access my server from public key. Okay. Then, and I see I don't want port, I'm with 80, nothing, I'm going to do anything. I'll not make the things very tricky for you. Not going on. Simply go review and create, and I'll go very slow to check. So validation is going on, running the final validation passed. Now, sir, you can create your server. So it's going to cost me 3.721 ENR. Would you like to download? Yes, I would download my private key. So see, it's download to my local machine, private key. See, what I have is a private key. It is saying, so I'll download my private key. So see, in my downloads private key, SPVM1 is downloaded, and it's creating my server. So deployment is in progress, and very soon my virtual machine in my own home, so my bed in my own home in one subnet is going to be there. So in a layman terminology, I'm explaining you that. Fine, we'll see that. So deployment is in progress. SpringPeople virtual machine, security groups, IPs are creation in progress. We'll see that, not to worry. And we'll connect it, we'll use with browsers and everything. We'll check that. Deployment succeeded. Deployment is complete. Is my virtual machine created? Let me go and click on virtual machine. Yes, SpringPeople virtual machine is created. Let me click this machine. Now I am going to connect with my machine. This is the public IP which I'm getting. And would you like to see the private IP? So the private IP is 10.0.1. So see, this is not changing, /24. So 888 bits is fixed. And this can go from 0 to 255. You are getting some number from 0 to 55. So this is private. So the private IP you get from subnet, and the public IP is a random IP from pool of Central India. I kept my server in Central India in zone 1, and I'm getting a public IP. But let's connect with my server. Click on connect. I will also teach you connect with Bastion. We'll show you all those things. So I have a connection methods. So I have a native connection. I'll use this. Let me click on connect. So I have one command, SSH-I blah blah blah. I'll copy this and let me open my terminal. And in my terminal, I'm going to, so let me remove all my terminal, and I'm going to access this machine in front of you. So what am I going to do? I'm going to access this machine from my terminal. I'll go to my laptop because I have a key. I have a key. If you don't trust, let me show you first. I have a key. So in my downloads, so you see, so where is that SpringPeople VM1 key downloaded just now at 3:54 Indian timing. So in my terminal, first of all, I should move where? I should move to my downloads where my key is there. So CD, change my directory to downloads. Tab, I'm inside downloads. Now the same command, SSH-I public key, but my key name. So what is my key name? So my key name is SSH-I and then key name. My key name is SPVM1 underscore key.vm. So SP, let me write SP hyphen VM virtual machine hyphen 1 underscore key. This is the command to connect with your server. And the user which I have created was Azure user, which I have shown you. And let me press enter. Yes, please connect. And I'm connected to server in Pune. Yes, this is a server in Pune. I connected. Now I'll clear all those rubbish. Now let's do something with the server. Let's first, update the server. So apt command is apt-get update-y. So let's first have a root privilege, sudo su. to have a root privilege. Now you use command apt or what? Apt get. Update the server. Update. Don't you update your mobile phone or your laptop? Let me update my machine. No, update my machine. So it's updating. See, it's updating my machine. It will take few seconds to update my machine, and it's updating. So it's updating my machine updated. Let me install Apache in my machine because I'm going to make my server as web server and access over HTTP. So the command for installing Apache, apt get. The command is apt hyphen get install Apache, Apache Apache 2 hyphen y is to say yes, do it for me, and it's installing Apache because I'm going to access to HTTP server I want, so I'm going and installing Apache. We'll wait. Okay, let me start Apache. System, so the command is systemctl start Apache, Apache Apache 2. So systemctl start Apache 2 started, and let me enable Apache. Next time when I'm starting my server, so my Apache should be enabled. Same system ct, it's together, ctl enable, e and a b l e enable what? Apache 2. Apache 2. Now I should be able to access my Apache page from browsers. Is it? Yes. So what is the public IP? Let me copy the public IP 20.40.56.165. Let me copy this. Control C. Let me paste this in a browser. Control V. Enter. If I'm able to continue to the site, I can. Apache 2 default web page. Awesome. But Parul, doctor, we don't like this. Then what do you like? We want a very good web page. Would you like? Do you like a very good web page? So let me create. So the command echo, I create one h1 header of HTML. So h1 header. So hi, we are learning Azure virtual machine 1. Hi, we are learning virtual machine. Let's make everything in a caps character. So it looks like hi, we are learning Azure VM1. Fine, let's make it like that. Let's close this h1. Let's go double clear, and I will put this file under var www, which is the root path, html, and create one page, index.html. So what am I doing? I say echo create this hi, we are learning Azure VM1, something like, and this is my root path, and index.html is my page. Let me enter, and now let me refresh and check. Hi, we are learning Azure VM1. Oh, awesome. You all can check. Make sure it is HTTP, not you all can check. You put it in your browser, in your mobile phone browser 20.40.56.165, and make sure it is HTTP, not, that's why it's showing not secure. So because I have not created any certificate. So make sure and tell me, are you all able to access this virtual machine? Is it virtual machine accessible to you? Hi, we are learning Azure VM1. And then next we'll create one more machine and connect with the load balancer. So first agenda of our today's session will be done. But first check it. Let me know that are you able to access? Hi, from webinar team, will they be able to answer this in the chat window, that are they able to access this? Will that be possible for them to enter in the chat?
No, sir. Actually, they can do in
okay,
question box.
No worries, no worries. So you all can check, but make sure it is over HTTP. So make http://20.40 from your laptop, from anything, you'll be able to. So I'm able to access this machine, virtual machine, which I created in Central India. Now, what is our agenda? Let's go and set our agenda first. Let's check agenda, because working according to agenda is going to help us. So our agenda was what? So the agenda was that we need to create SpringPeople VNet, we created. We need to create two public subnet, created. We need to create two server, but one server we created. And now we'll create another server and we'll attach with load balancer. Now why load balancer? What is load balancer? Everything. And then we'll understand. So first let's create another virtual machine and then we'll come to load balancer also. So let's go and do the second part of this agenda. So let's fulfill the agenda one by one. Very simple. So what I'll do, I'll simply go to again my Azure portal. What I'll type, I need one more virtual machine. So I'll go with what? Virtual machine. Very simple. Okay. So SPVM1 is also already there. SPVM2 will create, but now we'll create, put it in a SPVNet of public subnets. Fine. So I'll create one more virtual machine. Very simple. Okay. Let's do step by step. Okay. What I want, what is my resource group? So never forget about your resource group, all your things. What is the benefit? So if I'm keeping everything in one place and if I have to delete, I don't want to, I will not go and delete separately. I will delete everything in one go. Virtual machine. So I'll give a same naming convention. So SpringPeople VM2. VM2. Very simple. Where Asia Calcutta. Availability zones, yes. Where zone 1, I'm okay with it. Serve operating system, I'm okay with it. x86 architecture, I'm okay with it. 2 CPU, 4 GB, I'm okay with it. How much year monthly cost? 2720 per month. I'll delete it after. SSH, yes, I'll go with SSH. Username, Azure user. Generate new key, yes, for this also generate user. RSA algorithm, okay. So we are giving a key name as -2. Okay, done with it. What traffic you want to allow? SSH, we are giving you. Anything else you yeah, I want something else also. I want HTTP also. Done, sir. So HTTP done. So what fancy I did? So very simply again, resource group, SpringPeople, machine name, the region where I'm working, Central India. So what zone 1? So there are multiple zones. Find zone 1, zone 2. I'll go with zone 1 only. So I don't want any redundancy because it's already costly thing. Fine. Okay, then I'm going to access with my SSH keys. The default user is Azure user. You want to make your name Amit, Rohit, Rahul, John, Peter, anything you want to make, you can make. I'm going to use RSA algorithm, public and private keys. Fine. So done, done, done. What next? The next part is very important part is networking. Disk and all I'm okay. But I want to keep my server in SpringPeople VNet. So in my home, and in my home, which subnet? Subnet 2. So subnet 2, this subnet. So subnet 1 we have already used. You want new public IP? Yes, I want another public IP. Thank you very much for this. So inbound ports 80 and that I'm okay with it. Anything other than that, no load balancing will create separately. We'll teach you everything separate. Not to worry, when I'm here, we'll make the concept very clear. Till I am here, I'll make the things very clear for you. So going with basic understanding of the things is this done and nothing more. I think let me recheck it once. So SpringPeople VNet, subnet 2, I want public IP, public inbound rules 80 and 22 and done. So now review and create. It's validating. 3000 per hour, 3 rupees, 3.72 rupees per hour. I'm okay with it. No worries. SpringPeople will pay me for this. I'm just joking. So let me go and click on create. So I'm in a process of creating second virtual machine. So it is asking me to download. I'm downloading. So you see SpringPeople VM2.pem is downloaded and the deployment is in progress. Same steps I'm going to follow and make it a second web server. So deployment is in progress. We'll wait for it. And once the deployment is done, so your deployment is complete. My VM is created. So we'll go and click on virtual machines. So SPVM2 is also created. Let's do install some packages. So this is the public IP. Fine. What is the private IP of this? So the private IP should come from 10.2. So 10.0.2.4. So this is private IP. So done. Okay. And now we'll click on connect. We'll go with connect option. We'll show you Bastion also. What is Bastion? Everything I'm going to explain you. Be here if you're interested in learning. I'll go with native SSH. Click on select. I'll simply copy the command, this one, and I'll open my new terminal and I'm going to connect. Now where my key is, first change your path. CD downloads. Tab done inside download. Then command. So then give your key name. So my key name is, it's key, and the key name was SpringPeople VM -2 key. And if you want to check, you can check that in the downloads, that what is the key name. So if I refresh, so what is my second? Yeah, spvm2 key.pem. Done. So this is my second key. I'm done with it. Now let's enter. Yes. And I'm permission denied. What happened? SSH-hi SPVM. Oh, not underscore, sir. It's SP-VM. And let's do it. And I'm connected. So this is my second machine in central India. So let me clear all this rubbish and then sudo su to have root privilege. Otherwise, without this, you can't install anything. You cannot update anything. So I have a root privilege now. What commands? Apt get update my system. Update -y. -y is for yes. So I'm updating my Ubuntu. I'm updating my Ubuntu updated. Then install Apache. So what is the command? Apt So the command is apt get. Very simple. Install Apache 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 2 and -y is to say yes. And it's installing Apache in my system. The system, which system? With virtual machine, not in my laptop, in virtual machine. Where? In Central India. Central India. So with my laptop, I am accessing a machine in Central India. So this is not my laptop. This is a machine of Central India. Fine. Okay. Going next is what? So in the machine which is kept in Central India, I'm accessing through internet. Fine. Okay. Now what next? So the next is start Apache. So systemctl start 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 Apache 2. Start it and then enable system systemctl enable, so that next time I should, when I stop and start my server, I should not need to start Apache every time. Systemctl enable apache Apache 2 and I'm done. So let me check whether I can see the Apache page from my server from my public IP. So go here. So this is your server number 2 and this is your public IP address here. Copy the public IP address here. Control C. The first machine public IP was this. Next machine public IP is this. Let me press enter. Yes, it says that it does not support a secure connection. HTTPS. I don't have certificate. I'm okay with HTTP port 80 only. Continue to the site and I can see Ubuntu page, Apache page. Done. Okay, good. But I don't want this page. I want this page. Hi, we are learning Azure VM1, but this is VM2. So hi, we are learning. I'll create one web page here. Hi, we are learning Azure VM2. So what here? So what? Echo like print, no? Double quotes H1. So let me put everything in a double quotes. So head one, HTML header H1. So envar H2, H3, whatever you like. So hi. So what was that web page? Let me read. Hi, we are learning. Let me copy this. Control C. Let me paste here. Control V. Hi, we are learning whatever. So this is VM2. So why to have a difference? So hi, we are learning Azure VM2. Now keep this in a path under where, which is the root path of servers, www html, then create one page index.html. Done. And let me press enter and I'm done. So if it is done, then I should see my second web page. Hi, we are learning Azure VM2. This is VM1. So this is VM2, VM1. So we are done. Now we are done. Now comes to the case of actual real industry scenario. Now the case is why I created two machines. What is the use of two machines? Let's do it. So let's go to our whiteboarding and understand whiteboarding. So what we are going to understand now, load balancing. So let me make load BALANCER. What is load balancer? And we'll understand load balancer. Fine. So let's do it. Now what is load balancer? Imagine, so for any application, if it is Facebook or anything, so for any application, multiple servers are running. So imagine these are Facebook servers. So multiple servers are running for Facebook. Fine. And we all client user of Facebook type facebook.com and our requests land to any of the server. Sometime due to client affinity sticky sessions, what happens? Few servers are overburdened while other may not. So if 1,000 requests are coming per second, which is very less, but I'm taking one example. Let's say 900 requests are going to this server, 50 requests are going to this server, while 30 requests to this and 20 requests to this server. Is it a justifiable way of distributing a load among our servers? First is no. So this server is overburdened. And if it fails, 900 customers will get that, hey, Facebook not available, or Flipkart not available, or Amazon.com not available. While 100 customer will say, no, we can see that. Why? Because this is our mistake. Because our system is not able to check the things correctly also, that if some server is not healthy, why we are sending a request to an unhealthy server. Second, you burden it like something like that, it is crashing every time. It is crashing also, and even after crashing, you are sending request to the server which is already crashed. Why you are doing this? Don't you have a management? Don't you have a good system of management where you can manage all these things? So for doing good system of management and managing all those things, this kind of environment is called tightly coupled environment. Tightly coupled, COUPLED, tightly coupled environment. And now I want to make my environment loosely coupled. So what we are going to introduce between client and servers, load balancers. So we are going to introduce one Spock single point of contact. So when client type facebook.com or whatever, the request will be handled by Spock load balancer, and they are going to send request evenly among all the servers. Now, if 1,000 requests are coming per second, so it will do something like 1,000 divided by 4, which is 250, and it will make sure that 250, 250, 250, 250 requests should go to the servers. Now, it is also very intelligent. If one of the server is not healthy, let's say this server becomes unhealthy, it keeps on checking the health. And if it is not health, it will immediately do 1,000 by 3, and it will balance the load among the servers, and it will increase the request onto the servers because one of the server is unhealthy, and once it comes back, it will again divide it by 4. So this is where load balancer is decoupling the environment and also taking care of health of different servers. So for doing this, we have a service called load balancing. So this is what load balancing is all about, and we are going to understand load balancing after this. So let's start load balancing, and then we'll go for a break also. So we'll have a break, and then after break we'll go. So let me keep this. So now we are going to create load balancer. So let's do load balancer to balance the load among the two servers. So we'll go with the next option is, give me a minute. So this is where we covered this resource groups and all, Azure compute we covered, VNet virtual machines we covered. Now we are going to load balancing. So here the load balancer is going to balance the load between the servers, and for that we are going to do some steps. What are those steps? We are going to follow those steps, and accordingly we are going to understand. So we have a health probe, we have a backend pool, we have a load balancer, we are going to club all these things. So we already have two machines in two different subnets. So we are going to use these subnets. So I'm not going to create the third machine. I'm going to use the two already created machines and put them in one group, then health, load balancer, everything. Let's start. So let's start and let's see whether we are able to do all those things or we are not able to do all those things. So let me discard this and let's start balancing the load among the two servers. So I'm again in Azure portal. We'll go with load balancer. So LOAD, load balancers. We'll go with load balancers. We'll create one load balancer. So which resource group? I'll also keep this in a same SpringPeople resource group. Name. So the name which I'll give it as a SpringPeople load balancer. SpringPeople load balancer, LB. Where? Central India. Correct. Fine. So routing public. So it's a public load balancers. Fine. And I'm using for Central India, regional. Fine. Now this is very important. So your load balancer will also have an IP via which you are going to access the load balancers. And then you can attach this IP with your domains. So if you have a domain, facebook.com, springpeople.com, you can attach this with your domain if you have a domain. So let me go and click on front-end IP. Now I want to create SpringPeople front-end IP, IPv4 IP address. I want to create one IP. So I'll name it as SpringPeople IP, and anything else, very simple. Let me go and save. Let me go and save. So one IP created. After this, you are not going to do anything. We'll do it separately. So we'll do everything separately, step by steps to tell you. So one thing simple. So you create, give a name of your load balancer, select your resource group, select your regions, create front-end IPs, and then don't do anything. Simply go and review, see the validation passed, click on create. So the deployment of load balancer is in progress. So deployment succeeded. We'll wait for it, and once it is done, we'll go and check the load balancer. So the load balancer, your deployment is complete. My load balancer is completed. So let's go and check load balancer. So we'll check the load balancer is there. Let me click on load balancer. Load balancer is here. Now the next thing is that now what we are going to do. So we'll go to the settings, and so the first front-end IP is created. Now I'm going to put those servers which are in different subnets in one packet, and that packet is called backend pool. So I'm going to put them in one close bracket. So this is what I wanted to show you. I'm going to create a backend pool, and in backend pool, I'm going to put this machine in different subnets. So this is what backend pool is all about. So let me go and click on backend pool. I'm going to click on add. So backend pool name is SpringPeople backend pool virtual network, SpringPeople virtual network. So fine, backend pool, I'll go with IP, backend address name, IP address. Let's go with the IC itself. If I go with IP address, yes, let's go IP because we have selected IPs. So I'm going with IP address. It says which IPs. So if I click here, I should be getting my IP. So one IP of my server was 10.1.4 and another IP was 10.2.4. So if you remember, it's very good. If you don't remember, the two servers which we have created, their private IP is this. So first I select my first server, which was in a SpringPeople VM, which was SpringPeople VM1, and I'm selecting my another server, which is my SpringPeople VM2. So these are two different IP of my servers. And let me go and click on create. So my backend pool is also created. So my backend pool is also created. Means I kept, so again, what we did, I created load balancer, created backend pool, and put my machines in a backend pool. So this is what I did. Now going next. So my backend pool is also created. Now health. What health I wanted to check? So obviously health, if my server is healthy, I need to check my health. Fine. So health probe, I'm giving SpringPeople load balancer. Please check me on port 80 whether I'm healthy or not, because my port is port 80 HTTP. Fine. And within every 5 seconds, keep on checking me whether I'm healthy or not. Save. Health probe created. So what I did as of now, so let me write so that you understand. Now what I did, understand. I created VNet. I gave it a CIDR 10.0.0.0/16. Then I create one virtual machine and I kept in a subnet which was SpringPeople public subnet 1, and I created another virtual machine which was in SpringPeople public subnet 2. This Spring machine has a private IP 10.0.1.4. This machine has a private IP 10.0.2.4, and then I created load balancer. I created one public IP of my load balancer, because now I'm going to access my load balancer, not servers. Public IP of my load balancer over public internets. First thing. Second, I created backend pool and I include both of them in a backend pool. Third, I created health probe to check every 5 seconds on port 80 whether I'm okay or not. Now I'm going to add all of them. 1 + 1 + this. Let's do it. That is means I'm going to create load balancer rule, and if it is everything is correct, I'll be able to access my servers over load balancing. Very simple. So I'll go with load balancing rule. I'll add one rule for it. That rule name is SpringPeople load balancer rule. IPv4, yes. What is your front end IP? I already created. This is my front end IP of my load balancer. Backend pool is SpringPeople backend pool, where my servers, both the servers are lying. Fine. TCP, yes, TCP. TCP port 80. Backend port 80. What health probe? Have you created any health probe? Yes. SpringPeople, what name I have given? Have I given SpringPeople load balancer? I might have given load balancer. Fine. So idle timeout is 4 and all. Done. So let me go and click on save. Saved load balancer rule, and if everything is okay, done, then I should be able to access my load. So we'll go with load balancer again, and if everything is done and okay, I should be able to access my load balancers with front end IP of my load balancer. So what front end IP of my load balancer? This IP. So with this IP, I should be able to access my server, which is very different. So you can see 135, 235, 213, and 247 is not this IP. So let me copy this and let me paste this and press enter. And if I'm wrong, let me continue to the site, and the server I hit the second server. Let me copy the same IP and check. This time also I'm hitting second server. We'll refresh and let's see whether we are able to toggle between the servers or not. Whatever I'm able to toggle between will take some time, but we'll see that am I able to toggle to the second server or not, because with the common IP, these are the common IP. So with common IP, I will, yes, you can see now server 1. So with this IP server 1, with this IP server 2, you see the same IP. It is toggling between two server, means I'm able to balance the load among two servers. So this is where my load balancing is done, and we are done with our load balancing as well. So the beautiful concept load balancer. So the load balancer is, again, what load balancer is? So load balancer is able to balance the load. See, now change to virtual machine 2. So this is virtual machine 2, change to virtual machine 1. So I'm able to balance the load between two machines. So I'm not only stick to single machine. So it uses different algorithm like round robin algorithms and other algorithms as well. Now the next agenda we have is peering, but we'll go for a short break of 15 minutes. You relax yourself, because yes, breaks are very important. So we'll take just a small break of 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes, we'll come back and we'll do peering. We'll understand what peering is all about. So go for a small break, relax yourself. So let's get back to Azure once again, and we'll be doing peering. But before we do peering, let's have a quick recap what we did till now. So we are going to do one recap right now. So recap. So before break. So let's do it. And then we'll start with peering. So let's start. And we'll then show you Bastion and all those things. You will understand much clearly. If you are still here, then you will. Now, what we did. So before we created one. So first of all, you know what is cloud computing. So we are here on cloud. We are using Microsoft's cloud, Azure, fine. And what is cloud? Cloud is a model called pay as you use. Pay as you use. There are different regions in Microsoft Azure. The one which we are using is Central India, and there are different availability zones. And why there are different availability zones? Availability zones are for high availability. And for high availability, we have availability zones separated apart and having a decent distance between these availability zone to take care of high availability, because if one availability zone is down due to any of the reason, second availability zone should be up and running, and our infra is always up without any downtime. And under availability zones, we have data centers. So this is what thing is. After that, what we started today with IP addressing. That what is IP, what is the meaning of CIDR, classless interdomain routing. We came to know about a formula 2 to the power 32 minus n. Why 32 everything? So we took one-sided 10.0.0.0/16, which produced 65,536 IPs. Then we created one VNet. So we created one VNet and we gave this CIDR to VNet 10.0.0.0/16. Then we created in the VNet two public subnet. We created SpringPeople VNet. We created SpringPeople public subnet 1. We created VNet in VNet SpringPeople public subnet 2. We gave it a CIDR 10.0.1.0/24. We gave it a CIDR 10.0.2.0/24. Then we created one route table. Let me choose the different color for route table. So we created one route table and we attached the route table with both the subnets. Fine. After that, we created one virtual machine, SpringPeople VM1. So we created SpringPeople VM1. We created in this subnet SpringPeople VM2. And what port we have opened? We have opened two port 22 and 80, so that we can able to connect our system, and we were able to connect our systems in Central India, and port 80 for browser access, and we access over a browser these two servers, port 22 and port 80. Then since these two servers are different servers, so we connected both the servers via service called load balancer. And we created one front-end IP for load balancer, and via that front-end IP I was able to access my load balancer, which was distributing the load among two servers. And we have seen, and we created one web pages on these servers, and we were able to see all those things. So that was a fantastic thing we were able to do till now, and we were able to cover all these things. So if you are able to get, if you have received all these things, having an idea of all those things, okay, yes, this happened, we were able to access, we created load balancers, created to this, then we created backend pool, we kept in the servers, we created health probe, load balancers, combined them in a load balancing rule, and we access our load balancer. Now the thing comes is peering. Now what we are going to do, understand, we are going to do peering. So peering means we are going to create one VNet 1 and we are going to create VNet 2. And then what we are going to do, so we are going to create one VNet. Let's give it a CIDR 10.0.0.0/16, and we are going to create VNet 2. So VNet 1 and VNet 2 we are going to create, and we are going to give it a CIDR 10.0.0.0/16. Can we peer them? Answer is no, we cannot peer them. Two VNet cannot be peered if they have same CIDR. How we can peer them? If they have same CIDR, so let's say we are creating one device here, so this device get 10.0.1.5, and if they have a same CIDR, any device will also get 10.0.1.5. How will route? Two devices will have the same IP address. Will you ever see something like that two devices have a same IP address? No. So that's why when we are peering, So two-sided to be different. So we'll take it 11 and we'll take it 10. And what we are going to do, we are going to then peer two VPC. And inside that we'll create one subnet. Inside that where we'll create one subnet. Here we'll create one virtual machine. Here we'll create one virtual machine and we'll ping them each other. So if peering is done, we'll try to ping them. If it is peered, then we should talk to each other, and that peering will be done on private network. Now, private network, understand this. Let me keep this. When I was showing you global infrastructure, see this. So when I was showing you Azure global infrastructure, so these are all Azure network, which is on Atlantic, Pacific Oceans. These are Azure network. Like that, we have a AWS network. Fine. So this is a fiber cables of Azure, Microsoft's. Fine. Now we are going to do peering with private IPs. No, we'll not have a public IP. With private IP, we are going to peer. Now let's first do it, and we'll gradually understand one by one what exactly I'm trying to tell you. So first of all, what we are going to do, we are going to create two VNets. So in Azure, we'll create one resource group and we'll create one VNet. We'll create another VNet. Inside that, we'll create two subnets. So we'll create private subnet only. We'll not create public subnets. And then what we are going to do, we are going to create a route table and we are going to attach them. And then let's see what next we can do, what exactly we can do, and peering and all. So first complete this. But before that, let's delete what we created first. Delete, yes. Now we did so much. We created servers, VNet, we created load balancer. So I said I kept all of them in a same packet. So let's delete the packet. No. So why to take a trouble? So that's why we created what resource group. So when we already created a resource group, then why to take a headache? So the resource group we created is SpringPeople resource group. Select the resource group, select the resource group, and simply delete the resource group. So this is where you need. So this resource group has so many things. See, public IP servers, VNet, SpringPeople 1, IPs, security groups, everything I'm going to delete. Disk and all. So in a same go, I'll give the name, I'll apply force delete and let me delete. And yes, so that is the beauty of keeping. So deleting is in progress. So let's delete everything what we created. And now after that, we are going to understand peering. So deletion is in progress. So deleting resource group is in progress. We'll wait for some seconds and then we'll see the next lab to connect two VNets and talk privately. Let me refresh. Out of 16, few are deleted. So it's a deleting. We'll wait for it. And once the thing is done, we are done with it. And then we'll create two different three resources left. SpringPeople VM1, network interface, public subnet. We'll wait for some more time and then we'll start with a new agenda, which is peering. Still deleting resource group is in progress. Now things are done. Now it's in progress. Everything is deleted. It's deleting resource group as well. And now we'll see. I should not have a SpringPeople. We'll wait for it to go so that we can create. Now we don't have a SpringPeople. Everything in that resource group is deleted. That's a fantastic thing. So let's do one thing. Let's create an architecture once again. So what VNet? Here I'll select VNet, VNet, VNet. Now we are going to create one VNet. So we'll create two VNet. So we are going to create two VNets. Which resource group? So let's create one new resource group. So we'll create VNet peering resource group, RGP. So let's put everything in SpringPeople VNet peer resource group. Virtual network name is VNet1. It's very fast. Again, we are going to put the things in closer to us. So let's put the things in. Where should we put? Central India, Canada, where? Central US. We have so many reasons. Let me put all the things in India only. So where is Central India? Canada, Korea, Asia Pacific will find India, Central India. Fine, done. Let me go and click on next. And in the security, I'm not going to do anything. In IP addressing, I'm going to first, this is my CIDR. I'm okay. I don't want any default subnet. We'll create subnet and then I'm done. So I'm done. Let me review and create. And let me create one VNet1. So deployment is in progress. We'll wait. One of my VNet is done. And then we'll go and create another VNet. So this is our architecture and we'll do it like that. So we'll go with VNet1, VNet2, we'll create two private subnets, two private server without any public IPs. Fine. So deployment isn't complete, done. So we'll again create VNet, one more VNet to clear them. So VNet1 is done. We'll create one more VNet in the resource group of SpringPeople VNet peering. So SpringPeople in Central India, we'll give it as VNet2, and let's do it. Click on next. IP addressing. Here I'm interested. 10 I have already taken. I can't take 10, so I'll take another CIDR. 11 I don't want any default subnet, will create separately. Now I'm done with it. Let me review and create. I'm done, and let me create. So my second VNet is also done. So we'll keep on. So two part, this is done, this is done. Now we'll create two subnets. Fine, so let's do it. Because we are going to create two machines, we'll create two subnets. So we'll not waste any time. The deployment is in progress. Done. We'll go and see VNets. How many VNets are there? So VNet 1 and VNet 2. We'll select VNet 1, and what we need to do, we need to create one subnet. So we'll click on subnet. We'll create one subnet. We'll make subnet name as VNet1 private subnet. Done. And the CIDR which we are going to give is 10.0. So only 256 IP we are using. So for this subnet, we can create around 256 resources. Done. So anything else I need to take care of? Nothing. Let me add. So one subnet created. Let me create another subnet. So simple. Let me go and click on subnet. Not another subnet. Only one subnet I require. So for one VNet, we have only one subnet. For another VNet, we'll have another subnet. So we'll go to another VNet. So we'll go to VNet virtual network. Now we'll select VNet 2. And here we don't have any subnet. So if I click on subnet, I don't have any subnets. So I'll create one subnet for here also. So VNet 2 private subnet. So we'll name as VNet 2 private subnet. So the CIDR which I'm giving is slash. So this is the CIDR of my VNet, and I'm only giving /24, 256 IPs. I'm okay. I'm done with it. Done. So the two subnets I have created: one VNet public subnet, one VNet private subnet for VNets. So let me just check once again. So for this VNet, what subnet we have? Let me check subnet. So what name I have given? Private subnet. Done. And then for VNet subnet, for another VNet, we have given subnet virtual network VNet 2. And for if I go to the subnet, what subnet I have given name? So VNet 2 private subnet. So done. So till now I'm done with this and this. Now we'll create route table and we'll attach with this done. So I'm going to create a route table. Let's simply create route table and attach with them. So what am I going to do? So I'm going to create a route table. Route tables. So let me go and click on create route table. So resource group, I'll be taking SpringPeople peering. Name, I'll give a route table for VNet 1. VNet virtual network 1. And let me go and anything else which I wanted to go. No, let me go and create route table, and I'll also create a route table for VNet 2. We'll also create a route table for VNet 2. So let's create. So for which resource group? SpringPeople VNet peering, Central India. I think I have not noticed the previous one. I need to check that because this cannot change. Central India should be for that also. So this is a route table for VNet 2. That is important, but that should be in Central India only. So let me go and review and create. Let me check for that. Otherwise, I have to recreate that. Let me create. So the creation is in progress. I'm creating route table, 2 route table created, but I need to check. So the deployment is in progress. Still the deployment is in progress. Let me check the route table which I have just created, route table 1. So I created in US East. I cannot have this. I have to create in Central India. So let me delete this. Yes. So route table is by default, is by mistake created in US. I cannot have this. So I cannot have this. So if this is the case, then I'll be, so route table VNet 2 created in Central India is fine. Route table VNet 1 I have to create in Central India only. Otherwise, how will I do? So creating route table in a different region is not possible. So route table should be in the same region only. Let's go and do it fast then. Okay. Let's do it. So I'm resource group, SpringPeople VNet peering, Central India. I cannot change this, otherwise things will. So this is a route table for VNet 2. So VNet 1, sorry. So let's do it. So let me go review and create. So route table created but not associated again. So after creating route table, you have to give attached to the subnets. Fine. So simple, very simple. So let's let it be deployed. Deployed succeeded. Let's go to route table. We'll go to route tables. We'll refresh. Once we get to route table, we'll wait for it. It's taking time. No worries. We'll go and see what happened, sir. Why you are not showing my route table? I just created route table BN@1. I will not create after this. Oh, it's not created. Let me retry once. No worries, we'll quickly create region Central India. I cannot change that. Central India. Name route table VNet1. Review and create. Validation field required information is missing. Not what previous. What do you want? Tax. I think I've already given. Now I'm having. Okay, no worries. I have. So let's go and connect this route table with the subnet. So I'm in a route table. Go to the subnet. This route table is not associated with every subnet. So VNet1 private subnet. We have only one subnet connected. So we'll go to the route table second. Very simple. Route table 2. We'll go to the subnet. This route table is not associated with any of the subnet. Which subnet we have to attach? Private subnet. Subnet is already associated with other route table. What's going on, sir? Don't do it. What mistakes are going on? Route table, subnet, VNet1 private subnet attached. Done. So route table VNet1 is attached with VNet private subnet. Now what happened to the second route table then? The route table VNet2 subnet associate. Okay, I have to select VNet subnet 2. Okay, I was doing mistake. No worries. Okay, so I'm done. So my two part of my lab is done, and infra wise I'm ready. So infra wise I'm ready means what I did as of now. Sorry it took time, but yes, it happens. So what I created resource group. In resource group I created VNet1, I created VNet2, then I created two private subnet, attached route table to them, and I'm done. Now what I'll do, I'll put one server here, one private server here, and we'll check that whether after peering can we ping them or not after peering. So first let's create servers. So what am I going to do? I'm going to create server quick. So we'll go to what service called virtual servers. We'll go to virtual machines. I don't have any machine. I've already deleted. I'll go with Azure virtual machine, and very fast I'm going to create. Which resource group? Peering resource group. What is the machine name? It's, let's make it SpringPeople VM peer 1. So let's make something like that. Peer 1 machine, SpringPeople VM peer 1 machine. Central India availability zone, I'll go with that only. Zone 1 SSH key. I'm going to just connect the system. I don't want I'm going to create a key, but I don't want any port 80 this time. So I'm okay with 22 because I'm not going to access the server on a browser. I'm okay with it. Let me go and click on disk. Nothing I'm going to do on disk. Networking. This server I'm keeping in VNet1 in private subnet 1. Done. I don't want any public IP, so please don't create any public IP for me for this time. Port 22 is done. I'm okay with it, and no load balancer. Review and create. My job is done, and I have created very quick one virtual machine over here. Let me create. My deployment is in progress. So what I did, I created one virtual machine over here. So let's go and again see the diagram. Yes, download this key. So it's in downloaded my machine. Now you see what I did as of now. So I created one private machine, no public IP. I'm going to create another private machine over here, no public IP. Then I'm going to peer these two VPCs and I'm going to ping it with private IPs. Will I be able to ping it? That is what the lab is all about, so that we can check it, that is it done or not. So deployment is in progress. We'll wait for it. And once the deployment is done, we'll create another machine after that. So we'll wait for it. Otherwise, we are getting an error. So we'll not face any error after this. I'm done. My deployment is done. Let me go and search one machine. Is my virtual machine created? Yes, SpringPeople VM peer 1 is created. We'll create one more machine. Is SpringPeople VM peer 2. So SpringPeople VM peer 2 will create. And very quick we'll create. No, very easy. So what? Which resource group? SpringPeople resource group. Central India? Yes, Central India. Name SpringPeople VM peer 2. Central India availability zone. I'll keep all those things default. SSH is okay. Azure user is okay. Anything I wanted to go with it. I'm okay with port 22 because I'm going to only connect with my system. No networking. Now please you keep this server not in VNet1, VNet2, and in that VNet2 private subnet. Done. I don't want any public IP. Please don't give me any public IP. No money I wanted to waste because these are my private things. Let me go review and create, and I'm done. Trust me, I am done. After this button, I'm done. And let me download the key for connection, and I'm done. Okay, and deployment is in progress. We'll wait for it. Once the deployment is done, then we are going to connect to VPC. This is called VPC to VNet. This is called VNet peering. And in AWS, we call VPC peering. Here we call VNet peering. Fine. Deployment completed. So let's again quickly revise what we did. So we'll keep on revising till we get to know what we are doing. So what I did, again understand. So I created one resource group. Inside that created VNet1, give it this CIDR, created VNet2, gave it this CIDR, then created one private subnet here, one private subnet here, created one route table, attach it, created one route table, attach with it, created one virtual machine here, one server here, created one server here, have a private IP. Fine, no public IP. Now I'm going to peer to VPC. Now see, then when you peer to VPC, you have to make two connections. One remote peering. So from here to here, you have to make remote peering, and then local peering you have to make. So very simple. And then after peering, we'll see that am I able to ping it? And for that, I'll use Bastion. But before that, I would love to see that whether I have a Bastion ready or not. So what is Bastion? I'll tell you what is Bastion. So when I go and select any machine, let's say this machine. So this machine don't have any public IP. You see, this machine which I have created has no public IP. Fine. So the machine which I have created is Ubuntu and has no public IP, whereas this is the private IP I'm getting from my machine, but I don't have any public IP for this machine because this is a private machine. When I go and click on connect, now I have to use Bastion because when you don't have a public IP, you'll not be able to connect. Now you need someone to help you. That the someone is a Bastion host, which is a machine which is going to securely connect you with it. So let me go and click on Bastion. I don't have, so it will take some time. So meanwhile, let me deploy Bastion. Creating a new Bastion. Now what is Bastion? Understand it very clearly. If you understand this, you are going to learn something very good. If not, then it is going to be tough for you to understand what is Bastion. So understand this. Now, what we did, we created one server here, but this server has no public IP. So when you have no public IP for connection, when you have no public IP, you need someone to help you for connection. So what you can do, you can have one, what is a method is that you can create one machine over here. But again, I'm saying what you can do, you can create one machine over here, one virtual machine over here, and you copy its key, the private key, the key which you created for this, you copy over here. So you will be able to connect to this machine. Yes, with native SSH, we have connected. We'll be able to connect with this machine. So once you are able to connect with this machine, so after connecting this machine, open the key. So key is, let me open a key and let me discard this and show you how key looks like. So they are not a fancy things. They are just, so we have created two keys after this. So we have peer 1, peer 2. But if I open this in a notepad, see how they look like. So open with a notepad. So these are keys. And see, this is a private key. This is a private key. And this is a key, how it looks like. So what I'll do, I'll copy this. Let's say if it is my private key of my private server. So I'll copy this. And what I'll do, now come back to the PPT again. So what I did, I already copied key of what? I already copied key of my private server. So private server key I already copied, and I have a public server also. So first of all, I'll connect with my public server. After connecting my public server, I'll open one editor and I will say paste control V, CNT control V. So the key of this, which I copied, I will paste here with the same name. So if I have the key I have given as Dr. Kundra key. So I have to create a same file here, Dr. Kundra key as an editor. I have to paste the same key. Now, when this has a key, now using the same command, what? SSH-I Dr. Kundra key.pem, which is already there. Fine. Then Azure user at the rate, because I don't have a public IP of this server. So private IP of this server. So once I type this, I'll be able to connect with this server. So this server is acting as a Bastion. This server is acting as a Bastion host or jump server for me, because of this server, I'm able to connect to this server. So that is what I'm just creating a Bastion so that you can understand what is Bastion. So I'm creating a Bastion. Now I'm connecting my machine with few steps. So this will help you to understand. So it will take time. Creating Bastion will take a time. So it's still deploying. No worries. Let me see meanwhile if I can do peering. So Bastion pricing starts with hourly rate. Okay, creating. So it will create. It will take some time. But meanwhile, let me go to virtual networks to do peering. So what I'll do, I'll simply go to, you connect with any VNet. So what you want to make? You want to make a peering. So from here to here and from here to here. So I connected with this VNet1. So I click to VNet1 So VNet 1 I have clicked. So in VNet 1, when you have clicked, here you have in the bottom peering. Click on peering. Is there any peering? No. Click on add peering. What peering? So SpringPeople peering. SpringPeople peering. Peering. Any name you wanted to give. Now going next, which is the virtual network you wanted to connect. So with VNet 1, so I'm already in VNet 1. I want to connect with VNet 2. So VNet 2. So allow VNet 2 to access VNet 1. Yes. Allow VNet 2 to receive forwarded traffic. Yes. From VNet 1. Yes. So I want both of the things to be possible from here to here and there to there. So this is remote peering. See this? So this is remote peering. I have to do local peering also. Go down. The local peering. So what local peering? So SpringPeople peering, make it local. LOCAL, and then give that name as remote. REMOTE. Give it remote and give it this. Fine. So simply local. Allow VNet 1 to access VNet 2, please. Allow VNet 1 to receive forwarded from VNet 2. Yes, please. Please do it. Let me go and click on add. So I'm adding a peering. So peering is done. So peering is done, but Bastion is still creating a Bastion. Bastion will take a time, but peering is done. Now you see, I'm in VNet 1. When I click on peering, I can see SpringPeople peering local. Fine. So synchronize with VNet 2. Now we'll go and see. I'm in VNet 1. Let's go to VNet 2. So we'll go to virtual network and we'll go to virtual network and see here also it is showing some peering connection or not. We'll go and click on peerings. I did not do anything over here. What happened? Yes, you can see SpringPeople peering is coming here. I did not touch VNet 2, but when I went on VNet 2, it's shown that even VNet 2 can talk to VNet 1. So this is where I'm done. But my Bastion is still in a progress. We'll have to wait for some time. And once my Bastion is ready, you see the fantastic lab after this, and that lab will let you to connect your private server using Bastion. So we'll see that, we'll check that once my Bastion is ready. So as of now, I'm done. So what I did as of now, let's have a quick recap meanwhile. So this is coming and we'll be able to do it. So let me duplicate the slide and let's have a quick recap what we did till Bastion is in progress. So we'll do a quick recap. So what is VNet peering? That when we wanted to talk to VNet privately, and that's why privately. That's why I created two servers without public IP. So what I did, I created one VNet 1, gave it a CIDR 10.0.0.0/16, and I also created VNet 2, gave it a CIDR 11.0.0.0/16. Why different CIDR? Because two peering cannot be done if they have same CIDR. After doing this, what I did, I created one private subnet here. I name it as VNet 1 private subnet and gave it a CIDR 10.0 because 10.0 can never change. .0.0/24. So it's having a range of 10.0.0.0 till it will go to 10.0.0.255, and you know that. And also I created one VNet 2 private subnet and I gave it a CIDR 11.0 will never change 0.0/24. So means 256 IP. So it will go from 10.0.11.0.0.0 till 11.0.0.255. Now what? We make two servers here. One SpringPeople VM1, and I created one more server SpringPeople VM2. To protect our server, we have network security groups. So to protect our servers, we have network NSG, network security group. To protect our servers, it's act as a firewall. What traffic to allow? So this time I have only allowed port 22. This time I have only allowed port 22. Last time I have allowed port 22 and port 80 both. So they are Gs, network security group. They are NSGs. So you can say firewalls. Fine. So I did that. Now after doing this, I made peering. So what I made peering. One from here to here, one from here to here, because both can talk to each other. No, that is peering. So when I'm friend of you, so you will take my number, then I will also ask for your number. What is your number? So we want number of each other, only then we can talk to each other. No, so number we want to exchange. So this is exchange of numbers so that connection can be established, friendship can be made. So I made first connection. So that was remote and then local. Done. Going next. Now we have a big problem of this servers. Now the big problem of this server is they have only private IP. They have only private IP. They have only private IP. Private IP. So in order to connect with private IP, I need Bastion host, which I'm in a process of creating, and let's see what is the condition. Bastion host. Let's see this. So I even revised one more time. Let's see what is the condition of my bastion. Is it ready or not? Oh my God. So created a new bastion. Awesome. Awesome. And I'm done. And trust me, I'm done. So let me again go to machines and see their private IPs. So these are my machines, and these machines, if I go to Spring People VM1, this has a private IP. So remember their private IP because 10.0.0.4, and we have another machine. Let me go to virtual machine, Spring People VM machine, and let's see its private IP. So its private IP is, where is that? 11.0.0.4. So if peering is done, I should be able to ping each other. So this is my 11 machine, Spring People VM2. I'll go to connect. I'll go with connect via Bastion. Done. Awesome. So port 22, yes. VM password, we don't have a password. We have a as private key from my local. So what is the username of my user? Azure user. Azure user, correct. Where is my file? It's in downloads. So I'll go to downloads. I'll select my file. So this is my server 2. So VM server 2. So this is file of my server 2. Let me click on connect. So pop-up blocked. So let me allow, done. Let me click on connect. And if I'll be able to connect with Bastion, I'll show you. Allow. And I'm connected. And if I'm connected, I should be able to ping what? This is my 11 machine. So 11.0.0.0. 11.0. This is my 11 machine. I should be able to hit 10 machine, which is my first VNet. So I should be able to ping 10.0.0.0.0.4. Let me press enter. And I'm able to ping. So this is happy birthday. Now, yeah, I'm able to ping my machine, which is in my second VNet 1. Let me check. Am I able to ping from Spring People virtual machine 1 to virtual machine 2, which is 11.0.0.0. So let's go connect virtual machine, this machine. Let's connect with this Bastion. So Bastion is already created. Let me click on connect, click with Bastion, port 22. Okay. I don't have any password. I'm using key with my local files. User is my Azure user. File is my first file in my downloads. So this is my file, private key, and let me go and click on connect. Am I connected? Yes, I'm connected. This is my Azure machine. I need to check ping. This is my 10.0.0. I need to check whether I'm able to talk with cell phone number of second machine. So number of second machine is 11.0.0.4, and I'm able to ping. So both are talking to each other. They are having a chat discussion. Hi, sir. How are you? Let's hello. How are you? And all those things. So hope you understand. We did a very good lab today. We are talking privately. Two servers talking privately. When this is also talking privately, see, this is also talking. It's keep on talking, and this is also able to ping both servers. So means peering is done. What if I remove peering? So what I'll do, I'll say, okay, don't be so excited. Now there is no friendship. War is going on. So there is no friendship. What I'll do, I'll simply go to what? VNet. So I'll go to VNet, virtual network. I'll go to virtual network, any of the virtual network. I'll go with peerings. I will select this peering and I will delete. Delete. Before I delete, are they talking to each other? Yeah, they are talking. He is talking. He is also talking. But let's delete. Let me delete. Yes, delete. There is no relation between me and you, and I'm deleting this relation. Deleting virtual network peering. So I'm deleting it. So I'm in a process of deleting. Once the peering is deleted, so deleted, no water. So deleted, stopped. No further discussion after that. So after 76 packet, no packet is coming, and after 146 packet, no packet is coming. No connection, nothing, stopped. We have no connection because the connection via which we were talking to both, when the connection via which we were talking, both of us which were talking is now being is not existing anymore, and will not be able to talk to each other. And this is something fantastic. And if you are still here, then I must congratulate you that you did something very awesome. So this was a overall discussion today we had. So we had a very good discussion today on so many things. So what we had today, what we discussed today. So let's see what we discussed. So we have one agenda completed. What we did, we created one VNet, Central India. We created two subnets, public subnet. We created route table. We created two public virtual machines having public IP. Public IP, we installed Apache 2. We created one web page. Here also we created one web page, and I was able to access both the machines separately. Then I connected both the machine with load balancer. But when I created load balancer, then there were different steps. And the main step was the IP of that load balancer, front end IP. So using that front end IP, I was able to. So what I did in that load balancing, so these were all my line of action. So I created resource group. I created VNet with this CIDR. I created two public subnet. I created route table. I had subnet association of the route table. Then route table internet access is already have. Then virtual machine created one having port 22 and port 80. Created second virtual machine port 22 and port 80. Then created load balancer with front end IP. Then created backend pool and selected both of my virtual machine 1 and 2. Created health port for port 80. Created load balancing rule and attached ham. So if you want, you can take a screenshot of it. It's a very good line by line action what we need to do. So line by line actions we already followed. So I explained you the thing very clearly that, okay, what is IP? What is CIDR? Why we are learning IP and CIDR? What exactly the use of it? Actually, why we are wasting? I always use this. Why we are wasting our time? So when we are learning, there should be some use. So when we learn all these things, so we came to a idea that, okay, so if I don't know IP or CIDR, I will not be able to create what VNet. Because when we create VNet, we don't give size in square feet, we give size in CIDR. So we gave size in CIDR and I was able to create my VNet. But VNet is a big unit, big land we have purchased. Now in big land we want small rooms, so that small rooms are my subnets. Now subnet can be public or private. Now just like our home, we have guest rooms, which is a room where public means to whom we want can come and access, but private room is something which is related with us. Fine. So like this, we have a public and private subnet. So I created and I gave them a size. I gave you a good formula 2 to the power 32 minus n, which you can now from any time you can use this formula to get an idea. Then after that, we talked what is load balancing. What if there is no load balancing? So my application could get something which is not available, which is not there, and I may hit a server which is not healthy. So I need someone or some mechanism to check the health. My request should only go to the healthy server. If it is not there, then why should I? If one of the employee is not healthy today, so let's not disturb him. Let's give this task to other employees so that we can help this employee. Fine. And our work should not also suffer. That is called load balancing. And then we discussed, so we created this infra, two public subnets, what is subscriptions, what is resource group. So we have created. Then we talked on Azure compute, what are compute services we have. So virtual machines, created load balancers. Then in load balancers, we have backend pool. Now, what is backend pool? Here we are going to put our targets. What target load balancer is going to hit? So because load balancer is hitting, so this hitting should be inside some target. So this target is called, in AWS we call target group. Actually, if it is AWS, then we call target group. But here we call backend pool. Backend pool. So we created backend pool. Fine. So we created backend pool and we put that server. Then we have load balancer. But before load balancer, I need someone to check their health. So we have a health probe. So we created health probe. So this is done, this is done, this is done. Now I need to glue all of them together. Fine. So for that, we have load balancer rule. So we created one load balancer rule, added this, and we were able to access our application with load balancer IP, front end IP. Then the common thing, a very good mechanism that once two VPC wanted to talk to each other privately, or two VNet wanted to talk to each other privately, then how they are going to talk privately, how to prove it. So what I did, I created two VNets, one with this CIDR and one with another CIDR, because CIDR difference should be there. If they have same CIDR, then you are going to get overlapping errors. So if this CIDR is different, and there I created two private subnet, and in two private subnet, two private server without public IP. And then what I did, I make peering. So peering between them. So once peering is done, so with this server has a IP called 10.0.0.4. The server where I created has a IP 11.0.0.4. Now, if peering is successful, then I should able to hit from this server this IP. But for connecting this server, I need Bastion. So first I created Bastion, and using Bastion, when my system connected, here in this server I type ping this IP 11.0.0.4, and using again when I connected this server, here I typed ping 10.0.0.4 this IP, and when I pinged, they were able to talk to each other. This is the proof of my peering which is done. Now I'm done. Any question and answers? Over to you. Hi everyone, I'm done. So yes. Hi Kaushik, are you there?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that fantastic and engaging session. That was incredibly insightful. And I'm sure all our attendees are walking away with valuable knowledge and practical tips they can start applying right away. If today's session have piqued your interest in Azure and you're thinking about, diving deeper, do check out our discounted virtual instructor-led training sessions for Microsoft Azure fundamentals on our website springpeople.com. These live online classes are flexible and can be taken from anywhere. If you do not find any suitable batches, we are happy to discuss and set up private batches for you or your team. If you don't have time to join live online, then do try out our affordable self-paced courses. For more information, do write to us at springpeople.com or call our number displayed on the current slide. Now we will open the forum to answer questions that we may have during the session. So let's get our questions answered. Over to you, Parvakundra.
Yeah, please. If you have any questions, please let me know. I think no questions. Ankita?
Okay, right. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. We will be sending out the webinar recording to all participants soon. I request that you kindly provide feedback before signing off, which will really help us improve the quality of our future events. Thanks again for joining us today. Behalf of Team Spring People, hope to see you again for a new. Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye, everyone.